The Wolves are the underdogs who they take out game 3. They put themselves on match point and they are looking to close it out, Juves.
Yeah. So it's pretty, I guess, unbelievable to me. I don't think anyone expected this. Jake said at the start of the broadcast that it is pretty Chiefs favored. And you said you're putting on your analyst. You said you're putting on your analyst hat, and you didn't want to be flamed for being for being an separating order from the analyst. But yeah, I don't know what's happening.
The Spawn, not to put your analysis on blast, you did spend quite a lot of time, not only tonight with this split, saying that Chiefs might have the strongest top side in the OPL, but that is not the case tonight.
I don't remember saying that.
I think you said it multiple times when you had a beard like a man, and since today when you've been a baby boy, you said it a few times as well.
Yeah, I mean, I said key to victory is that Chippies needs to show up, right? And then Chippies has a performance like that where he turns the first gank of the game, sets up really nicely in the lane, and is now running over the top of the Chiefs, right? And I think that if you look at game 1, how the Chiefs won, Chippies went 0-5 on Renekton, a bruiser. Since then, he's changed, he's adapted, he's molded, he's become the man that Jews wish he was in 2018 Split 1. And now it's looking the goods.
Yeah, well, like we were saying on before we came on air that Chippies has found a champion pool that consists of tanks that's not necessarily meta tanks, but they're tanks nonetheless. And we've seen what a change that does for Direwolves just in draft. They're still playing top side a little bit. They're still getting some early ganks in top, getting leads and things like that. But it really enables the thing about picking tanks is it's not necessarily that it changes what you draft in the rest of the composition, but when it comes to a fight, your mid laner and ADC can stand there and pump damage with someone in front of them, right? As opposed to someone who's looking for a flank. So it changes the whole dynamic, the whole dynamic of the team, right? And that's what's important, and I think that's what we're seeing right now.
And let's discuss, kind of just what Jules is saying, because I am a huge proponent of this. I think the triple front line with outright hyper carry. We played Azir a lot until it was banned. Obviously Misfortune, outright hyper carry. If you just create space for the Misfortune, it does wonders for the composition. And we saw how creative the Chiefs tried to get on top of her, because they're playing the flanking comp. That's the first thing. Second thing is, Chiefs have one shot at getting it right. If their flank misses, it's game over. They lose a fight. Direwolves can whiff Rakan ult, can with Poppy engage and still have a Cataclysm, which is guaranteed CC. They have so many more tools to actually set up what the fight needs to look like. I talk about ease of execution probably more than anyone in the world. I say it all the time to my players. I say it all the time on broadcast. Juves and I could play the Direwolves comp.
Yeah.
We could play the Poppy and the Jarvan. Juves can EQR very competently. I can hit W on Poppy and stand on top of my Misfortune so Lee Sin can't touch her. That's all the comp requires, and then you'll win the team fight. It's a great comp.
Yeah.
Juves.
Yeah, no, so I was just going to add on to that, and it's it's not even like we said, it's not even S tier champions. Jarvan, okay, maybe Jarvan is a bit of an S tier jungler, right? But it's Poppy's not an S tier champion. Rakan's really not an S tier support, right? People aren't blind picking it. They're making champions that aren't necessarily broken work just because ease of execution. They're called R button comps for a reason, because they only function with their R buttons. If you don't kill anyone with that engage and R button's down, R button comp doesn't play anymore. You just wait your 120 seconds, your 2 minutes for your cooldowns to come back up.
Here's my question. Do we even need a bottom side of the map? Because we were looking at 9 topside deaths by 25 minutes in this game. It's all happening topside at the moment. This is, these guys, Chippies in particular, just absolutely popping off.
So normally when you look at a game, right, and you're analyzing a game before you come into a segment like this, you're looking at little things to talk about, and then you sometimes you just look at KDA and you're like, okay, well, this guy's having a big impact, this guy's not really having a big impact. Sometimes you say this guy's inting, this guy's not inting. I didn't realize until Jake pointed out at 27 minutes, I think it was 26 minutes, 11 of the 11 deaths were top jungle. Now, let me tell you something about dying, because I've done a fair bit in my career, okay? I've won a few team fights when I was dead. I don't even think that I played a game where we had 100% of our team's deaths.
And it's so funny because this is the top side that I like pumped up, right? It's like these are, in my opinion, the Chiefs' 2 best players, and that's not jogging it down. Like,
No.
that is a reportable offense in solo queue.
I was going to say,
sure.
I'm on the phone right now to riot support about my ticket. Like, Katsuri and CK are literally on the telephone saying, "Hello, sir, Riot Games. Yes, I'd like to report a crime. And what's the crime? Oh, well, the crime is my top side has 100% KP. Wait, that doesn't sound so bad. No, but they're the ones that are dead, 100% KP in deaths."
Yeah, that's a feels bad for sure. I mean, this next game, obviously, we mentioned Direwolves on match point. They can close it out now. This is the test for Chiefs, but this is really the test for Croc as well, isn't it, Juves?
Well, yeah, this is the biggest thing for me. Sorry, Jake. I know I saw you get part. I'll do it quick. Croc has not been tested yet in terms of how does he bounce back from a performance like that in a best of one. So for me, it's like, how does Croc bounce back? I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. Jake?
Yeah, I was going to say, the interesting test for me, however, is Direwolves came into the playoffs losing 7 of their last 8 games. And this is the first time they're probably now a favourite to win a series. They were 0-2 against Order, and then they brought it back. They were 0-1 against Chiefs, but in pretty resounding fashion. Game 2, they had an early game deficit that they climbed their way back out of. Now they're on match point. I'm wondering, this is Direwolves playing with nothing to lose, per se. And that's a pretty easy way to play League of Legends. Like, now that everything is on the line, I want to know if the veterans of Direwolves have that killer instinct still. Because I know they used to. Cupcake was like one of the most brutal killers in the OPL. But can they actually close out the young Chiefs?
And what do the Chiefs have to do to stop this? What do you change about the way that you're playing Spawn in order to stem the bleed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do a backflip because I really like Thean's carry champion pool, but it's not working at the moment. And if you can't play the champion, don't lock it in. And he clearly had never played Mordekaiser before in his professional career. So I'm saying, like, if it's not a Kali or it's not Camille, I want him on a tank as well. Like, you've been relegated. CL is a good enough coach to know when a player isn't in form, you put them on utility. Thean must be on utility. And I think you just play around your young 80 carry. Rob's having a fantastic set, so let's see what he can do.
Absolutely, and we want to see what you guys can do as well, because NeoSurf are running their competition again during the next game. All you need to do is head to the OPL Twitter page at OPL, predict the pace, the total game time. The person who gets it closest will win themselves a legendary skin plus 20 masterwork chests and keys. And then you got 4 runners up who will win themselves epic skins and 10 chests and keys. So there's no reason not to go. You could put any number in there. You could put those dumb joke numbers we always see on the internet. You know what 2 numbers I'm talking about. Or you could actually try. Jake, should they actually try?
I put an hour and a half in, and I'm obviously wrong, so just go longer than what I did.
There you go. Or
I'm putting
go
in,
longer so he
94.
can get his skin. Well, let's see. We would love to see you guys guess. We would love to see this go to 5 games. Can Chiefs bring it back from the brink? It's Chiefs versus Direwolves, Game 4, potentially the end of this series, and the Macca's Champ Select.
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
Game number 4. Match point for the Direwolves. A chance for them to flip the narrative. We beat you, well, we lost you once, Chiefs, but we'll beat you when it really matters. And we will book ourselves into the grand finals. But this, Rusty, is far from over. This is proving to be a fantastic semi-final, and Chiefs still have a lot of life left in them.
Yeah, so the thing we have to explore here, Skimmy, though, is how much fight do they have left in them and what does it look like? Because, you know, it was just spoken about between Juves and Spawn, but that was an atrocious game if you're looking at it from Tan and Croc's perspective. They're the ones that now get pushed to the limit. They have a consistent bottom lane. Claire seemed like he was playing perfectly fine League of Legends in that game as well, and it was the rest of the map that was genuinely struggling. So if you look at this game, you know, Direwolves, they've got the momentum, they've got the strategy and draft, they know what's working the best for them. It's the Chiefs, and what are they going to play on that top side that needs to be explored? And we said this, Skibby. We said that Chippies needs to play tanks, and he has been. And now it's time to see what the Chiefs do on that top side. Is it just going to be a Sejuani gameplay experience? Maybe.
And I'm very happy to see that the Jarvan has been banned away, because we mentioned also that Mirage has been given it every single game, and he's just finding so much impact with it. Now, they let the Olaf go through as a result. Direwolves don't hesitate to lock that in as their first pick, which we know they can flex between jungle and top. The majority, the other picks are quite stock standard. We are still going to see that the Syndra finds a higher priority. Claire wants to find a more carry style that can come online a lot earlier here.
This is very different from the Chiefs with their priority towards mid laners. It's not like the Direwolves have done anything differently there either. They've responded to that by immediately going for the Orianna. So mid laners, higher priority is a pick, not a pick ban. And now we see the junglers with AD carries. So supports, what are usually seen in the first 3 picks here, Skimmy, completely untouched. And, you know, if you're Cupcake, you enjoy that fact. Because now Bard is worth considering if you're able to ban champions that it's bad into. And your composition is already poised to have some kind of wombo there. If they go Braum, you get the Rakan. And so it's pretty clear to me that, like, if you were the Chiefs, you see this and you're like, well, we have to ban Cupcake's champions that are working, these counters that exist, to give us something.
And surely we see Direwolves go for a ban on the Tahm Kench. I would hate to see Chiefs just get that one locked in for free, given how strong it's been in really controlling these team fights. So when Direwolves have been going for these R button compositions and just blowing members up, how much that's actually come into effect to deny them. So we're going to see already Comfort's taken away, Cupcake on the Bard, and increase CK on the Fresh. But the second bans that come out, this is the real difference maker for me.
Yeah, it could be a Nautilus.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of the Tahm Kench. Like, Tahm is kind of a whatever type of champion. It's not a 1-3-1 here from the Chiefs by any means, while that Tahm Kench still has a lot of value for protecting the Aphelios. It is still, you know, a massive wombo that we're seeing from Direwolves once again. So you're looking right now at the threat of an Olaf flex. You're looking at the potential of a Malphite top lane again to round out the composition. And it's an Aphelios and a Syndra already. So I'm not sure that they're too concerned about that Tahm Kench, and it's very clear that the game plan from the Chiefs here isn't about being defensive.
Oh, they're going to get that Blitzcrank once again. Champion that can be so damn oppressive with the ability to catch you out of position. And obviously have the silence to follow up. That could really disrupt a diving composition. Where do Direwolves go to lock in what they have?
I mean, so you
They
could
get the
like,
Malphite again.
the Malphite's not a surprise. I'm just thinking towards Cupcake's champions now. You could go Morgana and deny the strength potentially of the Blitzcrank if that's your goal. Or you could be more aggressive. This is going to be a weird happy medium, actually. So they haven't gone for something that beats down a Blitzcrank. But if Blitz hooks you, you're both going in.
This is interesting because we saw the Olaf Yuumi be a major staple, especially in, you know, weeks 7 and 8, I believe it was, where teams were just running it and they were like looking to lock that in the first 3 picks. It's going to be an interesting way for them to try and close things out here. They are drafting for teamfight ability, and, you know, the last chapter can just be so damn annoying to go up against when people clump.
Yeah, it fits into their composition fine, and it is like you mentioned, you know, that Yuumi Olaf. So once again, more merit to the Olaf being the jungler and coupling in tandem with Cupcake. Now, the thing is, it's not like the other side of the coin here has done anything differently as a result of seeing that Yuumi. They've committed to their aggression. The Blitzcrank was the 4th pick. The Silas, upon seeing the Malphite, has now gone to top lane. So they have a wombo of their own in a respect. You know, you've got the Malphite ultimate that can be stolen by the Silas. You've got the teamfight capability. Silas also very good with Ori ultimate. And also, of course, now has a Yuumi and Misfortune ultimates to steal. So that last pick for me is something that I think is very important here from the Chiefs. Is a very big deal. And it's Tan playing a carry.
I think that is the recipe for success, right? You know, that is what you want to see come out of a player like him. And I think that's fantastic drafting from Coach CL, quite honestly. The fact that they can hide that as their last pick and say, look, you have to reveal your full hand. We know you've been going for these wombo combos that can absolutely crush us. But this could be the one to bring us to a game number 5 here in this best of 5 semi-final. Direwolves currently leading 2-1. They are sitting on match point to advance to take on Legacy in those grand finals. But do Chiefs have enough with this draft here to throw a wrench in the works?
A couple of small wrenches thrown into this one already. It's about the play style now. It's about the execution. You know, how are they going to play this out? We already spoke about what Malphite can do earlier on in the series. Isn't going to be the most oppressive early game champion. Now, the reason the press the attack Malphite could be considered so powerful is it's 1, high base damage, low cooldown of 6 seconds between uses of it. You have an auto attack reset as a Malphite, and it gives so much early game damage as a result of all of those things. So that will help him, you know, tide over what is a Sylas lane that wants to just scale up and can out-heal you to have a bit more potential kill threat. So this top lane, just a little bit more about scaling now, you know, hitting level 6, influencing the map. Jungle is definitely a place that we're going to have to look at, see what Croc can get done on his Trundle. It's the press the attack this time, which is the normal Trundle runes. I'm not going to be going for the Predator.
I think that will be a welcome change here, given we've seen this Olaf Trundle jungle matchup
That late invade.
quite a lot.
I wonder if that was spotted by Direwolves, because Olaf is starting solo on this Raptor camp. He's also got Claire harassing him, who took a couple of those away for what it's worth, but he's going to see that it's not there now, so he might not have been able to see any of that. Croc now going to go for a level 2 ganking. But this killer instinct from them is very refreshing.
This would be massive if they were able to find it. Summoner Hill is used very early on, just to give him the movement speed. Wants to hang on to that flash as long as possible. And that is what we've come to know and love from Croc.
Yeah, that level 2, you know, doesn't go for the pillar, doesn't force the flash. He's going to keep his W and just get the chomp off as he crosses between lanes. He's going to go red to red. Now, the Olaf, of course, is going to have a very hard time of things going from his blue side to the enemy blue side, with Trundle already having that tempo, having that edge in that regard. Bot lane, we're looking at it right now. Pretty difficult to get control and, you know, wave priority this early into the piece for both laners, but right now it's building massively in favor of the Chiefs towards the Direwolves turret. Which means more priority once again for this Trundle, and even harder for the Olaf to be able to execute.
And I think, you know, the Chiefs are going to be well equipped to denying in these later stages the jumping component that Yuumi obviously provides. You've got the stuns, the silences, the displacements, and multiple different engaging tools. That Cupcake's decision making is going to have to be, you know, very on point.
There is 4 people down here, and if they get this wave away from Vital, it will be devastating.
It's going to be a 4-man collapse, and Direwolves are still a while away from being able to respond to this one. He actually burns a flash. That means that Claire takes a sizable chunk from the tower damage, but it is a successful one. And it will be a first blood that Chiefs can quite confidently achieve here with a major wave crashing in.
And oddly enough, Shock gets down there to catch the wave. Now, it definitely sucks for Vital. You know, that's both summoners gone. Look at the CS that he has right now as well as 9. But at least Shock will collect the wave, and you can see a CSD growing between mid laners as a result of that. It's a very unusual game, but like, I have to reiterate my statement that the killer instinct from the Chiefs is very refreshing in the best kind of way, and it's still happening.
And this is what we've seen time and time again, and what we've coined as angry gaming. They just come into this one, mental completely reset, looking like a brand new team, and you know, these first 5 minutes doesn't look anything like we saw in the last.
This is for sure rage gaming. Of the right kind, you know, just, I think they might have just had a chat with CL. He might have been like, come on guys, honestly, like, the way that they've been playing, the pace is not you, let's ramp it up, and they just took it to 11 on the dial. So they might have gone a little bit further than expected, but it's not like it's bad.
Good to see now what they can actually do with all this tempo that they're now trying to force. It will be Croc getting accelerated with that first blood, so sees a fair portion of gold to try and get himself ahead over Mir, to then be able to translate that into successful ganks to get these guys online, specifically this man here, Tien, on the Sylas, which is a very big pick. Could be a major deciding factor in this matchup.
Yeah, now you just saw a trade happen in top lane from those champions and mentioned as well, but it was actually after the teleport reset from Tien. So any trade that Chippy's took there before his reset was a good trade. So now he's going to go back to lane with a slight advantage, at least 1 potion in advantage for himself, which will be nice, as he tides over closer to that level 6 point where he will be super relevant on the map. But unfortunately, of course, he teleports to that lane. So he's not going to be immediately influencing bot lane. He's not going to be doing any kind of crazy selfless acts like we have seen from him in the prior set yesterday. He's still in it for himself right now.
I'm going to monitor how Vital recovers from this situation, and if he is bullied out with repeat ganks during that window. I know that Spawn's been quite vocal about what team in the OPL is the best when their summoners are down, best at utilizing that situation, being present on the map, and it seems to be that Chiefs are that one that really towed a line. How do they respond in that fashion? It will be Mir that starts things off here on the Dragon. Croc is in quick pursuit, however.
No smite on Mir, actually, so he just stops hitting the Drake. His smite's finally available now.
They're going to flash on in to make that hook happen. It will not stop him, however, from landing that smite. A beautiful Dragon, a shockwave onto 2. It locks Mimers in place. Syndra, however, does get the kill.
No, Croc lived there as well. He flashes with 0 HP to his name. This will be a long chase if they commit to this one. The Orianna might go for another deep wrap around now.
He's going to try and deny
nowhere
himself.
to go. He's shown himself by using that W on the ground, so he's actually going to walk between turrets and execute.
Beautiful little execute there.
Shock had flash. He could have considered flashing for that one. I think he would have been able to.
How much would it have hurt him in this 1v1 matchup against Syndra?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it would have been too bad. Obviously not having flash against a Syndra and a Trundle would hurt, especially when they come back to get you. But hey, flash for a kill, as long as it's guaranteed. I mean, hell yeah, brother, do it all the time.
Because that's what I'm wondering right now. Like, if you try and look deeper into it, is this to say I want to continue to have lane dominance in this matchup? I want to be a threat in this subsequent Rift Herald that we're most likely looking to try and set up for?
I don't know if they were thinking too far ahead with the decisions like that. At the end of the day, it's about, like, will we flip the map for Rift Herald? Things like that have to be considered first and foremost, because it's always a numbers game with Rift Herald. It doesn't seem like either team is super pressed to get up there on spawn timer. It is the flamethrower right now for Katsuri, so a bit more wave priority, however. And they will be able to push this and reset if they want. And we'll see how they choose to play this one out, though.
That we will. Chiefs put some vision in the tri-brush. Always going to be a menace when that Blitzcrank is hovering.
You know, that was a...
just means that they play so defensively underneath this turret.
Think about how this game started, Skimmy. You know, it was crazy aggressive from the Chiefs. Their movements around the map were wild. They were really pressing the direwolves. But if you take stock of the game right now, you know, there was a massive CS advantage for Katsuri. That's now been mostly equalized. Mid lane had a pretty big CS advantage. That's also been equalized as these waves, you know, rise and fall and crash against different turrets. Top lane's even. Chippies may have to ult, however. He chooses to flash with it.
Wow.
He covers so much distance. But Tian has his ultimate, so I understand why he flashed.
Respect shown there to what it presented. And Mir was quite a while away from being able to respond if a fight were to take place, if a turret dive were to happen.
And they're not contesting. You can see the recall is just completed by that Olaf. They're going to go to the bottom side of the map here and just try and continue that camp lead that Mir does have. You know, the CS advantage grows in top lane, however, after that little skirmish and pressure applied by Croc. So,
yeah,
very meaningful lead, actually, for TN grows from that and could accelerate further. You know, we have seen more and more usage of the first Rift Herald of the game, just straight up into side lanes to get turret plates and gold. Now that there's 2 of them, it becomes a much more viable strategy.
And that was the big thing I was curious, right? You know, you've already revealed the map fight. You know what you're going to go up against. What is it actually going to mean when Silas comes online? Well, let's see what it means when this team fight comes online, because Croc survives for such a long time. Claire comes around for the drive-by, doing the damage. Chippies wants to take down Tien, wants to deny some CS.
Oh, he got the W.
But the heal comes out, the chains land. He's getting kited.
Oh no.
The spiral shard connects and Tien just walks away.
I think Shock might have overestimated the damage of his opponents as that Hex Flash comes in. Hook just skims his bum hairs. He's not actually going to find it. But if Shock you know, he flashed away very early, and that's totally fair, but I think that overestimation of damage means that he was, you know, a hair's breadth of hitting multiple skill shots. And that was the life of TN. Indifference.
Well, Shock going to be quite happy with the situation. Regardless, going to have himself with double buffs. A lot of pushing prio. In a very comfortable spot. As you can see on your screen right now, the NeoSurf competition for that skin giveaway has closed. If you got your entry in, good luck. If you didn't, be sure to follow at OPL Twitter, and I'm sure you'll be a big fan of the Chiefs right now to try and bring this to a Game 5.
That's it. More skins, more opportunities, and more Game 5s. Why not? Let's just give us 2 Game 5s in a row. You know, I'm not picking a winner here by any means, but I do like 5 games in a best of 5 series, Skimmy.
Will just fit the narrative so beautifully, right? The road to the grand final. The amount of things you've had to overcome to get there.
Drake being started here by Croc, FYI. He is currently inside the pit doing that one. Mir, while hovering around the area, hasn't committed to anything just yet. They know there's a control word in the bush just in front of him, so he's hesitant to move. So the Drake just goes over completely free. That's 2 objectives back-to-back here in favor of the Chiefs with no contest from their opponents. Oh, it's not a mountain.
We are going to have an explosive game. Quite refreshing, actually.
Yeah, it's a nice change. 3 mountain souls in a row.
Imagine if we went to a Game 5 and it was like an ocean.
Game 5 will be like that. Yesterday was mostly Cloud Souls, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Game 5 will be the Cloud Soul anticlimax.
Ultimate spamming, press R, direwolves. Say thank you very much to the RNG gods. For the meantime, big proponent of this gold lead can be found here in the top lane. Tien flipping the script on. Was a bit of a lackluster Mordekaiser performance, but the Silence is finding value right now, up a very healthy amount of CS. A fair bit of turret plating has been taken as well, which puts Chiefs in the gold lead.
And Chippy's has gone for, like, so this Malphite itemization, he does seem to be a big fan of going for the Balmy Cinder before anything else, and, like, I don't mind that, but I wouldn't have minded Merc Treads either. And now he currently has no room for boots. So I was wondering if he had magical footwear, which is possible. But because he has no slots, we don't know for certain. And if he did, he probably didn't want to get a Ruby Crystal so that he could finish those Merc Treads. And if he didn't, he should probably have those Merc Treads.
He's going for a recall now. Does have the teleport available, so all will be revealed in a matter of moments, or maybe we'll just have to hold that fort for a little bit.
He heard ya.
He's cancelled. He has. This is live, apparently. Could be pre-recorded.
Yes,
I've seen some people ask if we are recording.
Yesterday's interview was an anomaly. We are live. For anyone who's genuinely wondering, Skimmy is not being serious. I am not currently reading off a script. Or
the
am
producer
I?
is not screaming in your ear saying, clarify, clarify, clarify. Who knows, man? Sarcasm is such a weird and wonderful beast. That's a hook. That's a dodge. I'm so curious to see how these team fights actually take place here. If the Yuumi finds the value. Because Vital's done a fantastic job of stabilizing in his lane, given how bullied out he was at level 2.
Yeah, and if we want to talk about the team fighting point, I mean, we want to talk about Spawn's favourite words, which is the easy execution. I think that once again, you know, you've got a Malphite. Hang on, I can't talk about it.
He gets rooted in place, receives an exhaust as well, flashes out, and one final auto will do it. He flashes, and he connects.
Vital knows his limits on the Misfortune. He knows exactly when Katsuri is going to be outside of that bullet time. Flashes forwards himself and is able to net the kill. Very well done here from the bottom lane. They punish Katsuri. One of the rare deaths that you'll see from the man, as he mispositions and is punished for it very hard. Now, they will still train turrets on the top side. Tien will get that first turret of the game as well. And Shock is currently on the wrong side of the rift, if you were wondering.
What do they do with this lead that they find? Gonna go for a recall now, so you'd imagine Essence Reaver is ready and rolling. This is a dangerous phase check.
They've got the numbers though. 3 people strong. Of course, it's very hard to detect the Yuumi's whereabouts, but he's right there. bit of damage, kind of pointless in the end.
Looking at some potential CC overlapping. GLP with the Gravitum that Aphelios currently have present. Croc hanging around in the area. Always fiending at an opportunity to force those fights. So he's made of.
The thing that I was going to mention before is like the composition the Direwolves have is pretty straightforward. If you're going to talk about difficulty of execution, they have a Malphite ultimate. You know, you layer all of your ultimates very nicely. I feel like a broken record talking about the champions and their ults, but it's easy to execute. The Chiefs, first of all, they need to steal the Malphite ultimate, so it comes down to how they even set that up with Tian. And if that's the case, then it's kind of obvious, and they have a window of opportunity. Katsuri working with Claire could still be very reliable engage in team fighting depending on the weapons that they have. So there are still some things going there for the Chiefs when it comes to this 5v5 team fighting. As I trust he'll pick up that Herald.
He's min-maxing. Gets the Scuttle, gets the Herald. Gets the vision control. And the pressure to break open this map. Dragon just about to spawn now. The first of many Infernals to follow.
This is also the first one that they've really contested. You know, they've really gone for, regardless of where the Chiefs are. You know, they sack the second Herald of the game. That blue trinket's also going to reveal them doing this. But they finally stop conceding those objectives, and with authority, they'll get there. There's trying to cut them off, Chiefs. They have a Herald. They're probably going to place that mid lane straight away to break the turret. There's a chance that Croc has just summoned that one. There it is. And Tian already hit a collapse as well. So this is most likely just going to be a turret that falls in trade, but the die will start to get active is the main takeaway.
Yeah, Chubby's has been cooking a fair amount right now, which has been allowing Tian to respond to the topside flash forward on Olaf. Final chapter locks on down, and Aegis deleted Aphelios. Good night, sweet prince. King Robert falls on down. The king of the castle. Chippy's forced to flash away as well, but gets followed in quick pursuit. Tian is on the hunt. Need for speed, drifting on through the Raptor camp. The Herald gets value, taking on one turret and a second now. Lanes are looking busted.
Yeah, they just stacks onto Katsuri, and for a second there, you know, my eyes drift that direction. I'm like, okay, the Direwolves, they've killed one of the carries. It's very important. You look back towards the rest of the team fight, and Tian has just assassinated them all. So we'll have to watch that perspective from this one, as we'll see once again, Herald summoned in mid. Mir and Cupcake will flash forwards. So this is what happens to Vital. If he was at that fight, maybe it's a different story, but the 1v1 is successfully won by Claire there, and then of course Tian gets in with the Olaf ultimate onto Shock. No Shockwave actually going to save his life there by any means, and the flash over the wall to make sure that that Malphite goes down as well. They didn't have the numbers in place, Direwolves, before they took the fight. They didn't get to plant their feet, and they were picked apart.
Very nice performance there from the Chiefs to sustain their gold lead. Now increasing it to 5,000. Building it up. And what does it actually look like in terms of items now, Rusty? Well, we've got 2 completed items on Tian Silas. He's got the Luden's Echo and the Proto Belt to be as nimble as possible, even if that flash is down. Get the Redemption on Kriya CK, which in the last game was so important at keeping Katsuri alive.
Yeah, I mean, this game's becoming a pretty big concern here for the Direwolves. They have some strengths that they still look forwards to. You know, their composition and how they execute it is obviously still capable of winning fights even from deficits. But Tian is terrifying. He is 60 CS ahead of his lane opponent. He has 2 completed items to the nothingness that is Chippy's item build. Just a bunch of components and some hopeful ideas. And Claire's 302. I mean, they can handle Direwolves with no trouble at all.
Oh, it's going to be both mid laners flexing their might. Oh, one final orb would have done it.
They both have 0
critical.
HP.
Sub 100 health.
I mean, that was a skill check. They came at each other with everything. The preemptive ultimate there from Shock as well. He knew full well what was going to happen. At the end of the day, Shock won that trade because he's able to retain his flash.
Felt like an anime boss battle, you know? The finale of a good season. They're just blasting at it, charging up those abilities for episode after episode.
They go to the hyperbolic time chamber now and come back terrifying. That's certainly possible here. Both champions scale pretty nicely. Claire also very early pick on this Syndra as a potential takeaway from Shock. Maybe trying to make him less comfortable. We saw what he was capable of with this Orianna yesterday. So it just seems like Claire's opted into this one for himself more than anything else. And, well, currently 3-0-2. Once again showing Claire's absolute mastery of League of Legends mid lane champions. He isn't just a control mage player. He isn't just a Diana or assassin player. He's good at all of it.
He is looking to, I suppose, back up his claims that he made at the start of the season, right? That I am a top 3 mid laner. You should always respect me and what I can bring to this team. He's making a good case for it right now. My concern has to be, though, with Sylas having such a major lead and there being no healing cut right now. He managed to sustain at this pick offers. Very scary to try and go toe-to-toe when he's sustained and even burst jewels.
This objective definitely going to be hotly contested here. You can see Career CK working with the rest of the Chiefs to try and control that vision. His hook is obviously going to be a target that we look towards if it finds its mark, and he was positioning a little bit unconventionally to look for those hooks. We'll do so again here. Just missing.
Does not land. Olaf the clear target now for the Yuumi. The empowerment it provides just makes him a living nightmare.
Really deep ward there though by the Chiefs. In lane hasn't been cleared. Tian could teleport to that one if they wanted to plant their feet into a side lane, but it seems like they want to group up more than anything else. You look at Tian, he steals the Malphite ultimate. He finally gets that one before the fight starts. I mean, this is the moment where the Chiefs just win the game in a single punch, or Direwolves stand strong and actually put themselves back into an even playing field.
Both AD carries have their flashes, but both Malphites do not have theirs. Interesting to see how they set themselves up for this one. As Tien jumps in, it's only onto Olaf, who just pops Ragnarok and laughs in the face of adversity. He goes golden, and Shock gets the shutdown. His Orianna has been so damn impressive in the last 2 days. And once again, it comes up with the goods. Forcing out a flash now from Croc as well, as Chippies meets fire with fire, and they finalize it with a Fire Dragon.
I mean, Tian had the mentality of a Malphite with the itemization of a Sylas, and he learned that very quickly there, Skibby. Then on the hunt again. Croc going to use his pillar maybe to try and keep Chiefs away from Claire, who was just a little bit caught out there on the back end on the disengage of that Drake. Direwolves have had fantastic Drake control through a lot of this series. It goes without question at this point. And they get themselves the third. And that is 2 consecutive Infernal Drakes as well. Now it's Soul Point. Infernal Soul's a big one.
You have to wonder, the patience to set that play up. Only ulting onto an Olaf, the worst target of them all.
They may get... Oh, that's a teleport actually. Dire was very aware of this. So at least the teleport being forced from the Chiefs. We'll see how this continues to play. Disengage should be on.
Pillar goes up. Chiefs have the wraparound with the protection from either side of the Baron Pit. He's just going to blind fake check in, says hello, doesn't have Ragnarok up just yet, around about 10 seconds away, but with the heals that come out from Yuumi, says hello, runs into all of them.
Oh,
Burns out a redemption as well.
Tian just used his Sylas ultimate on a Banshee's Veil. He tried to get Shockwave, and now he's got nothing.
I think, Rusty, we need tactical timeouts.
I'm tilted for him.
We need a 1-minute pause, splash some cold water on his face, and get him back in.
Oh, that's so sad. I mean, at the very least, he's got a minute to think about it because the reset will still be on. 23 minutes into this one. It's not always going to be the fastest, Baron. You just saw the Chiefs try to take that one, and it did take quite some time to even get it to the health that it was at. They are still going to look at this one, however. Pretty aggressively, positionally, but Direwolves also have some wards. You can see Croc walk over one right now. And it's not just a teleport flank ward, unfortunately for Direwolves, that was forced out of Chippies. It's more they can see exactly the Chiefs' movements even if they don't have a ward on the pit itself.
They will continue to dominate the breaking of the base. 4-2 in terms of structures. Border lanes starting to look a little bit exposed now as they still retain that gold lead that has been present now for a bit of time.
Mir is ulting off cooldown. He is just... My man's just hunting. Trying to find something, and unfortunately this time, of course, he found a very dangerous Claire on that Syndra, who repels 2 people pushing towards him, so single-handedly able to get a little bit more control around Summoner's Rift. But we're starting to get those item spikes, Skimmy, and things are starting to get very dangerous.
That they are. Infinity Edge now completed, the second of major components here for Vital's Misfortune. The same could then be said of Katsuri with the Hurricane as well. Claire only mere moments away from getting the Rabadons online with the 2 rods in his pocket. And
Yeah.
Mir is just a monster, right? He's gone now for the Warmogs with the Yuumi on top as well.
Yeah.
Has infinite sustain, will not fall on down, the biggest of the health bars.
He's gone for the Warmogs before anything else. And you know, that is a lot of health. Yuumi provides healing, but he doesn't have any resistances. And it's worth pointing out, you know, when there is some serious damage coming out of the opposing side. They also have an Executioner's Calling. The reason, though, that you often like to rush a Warmogs is because you're going to hit Baron. And if you hit Baron, you don't lose any health if you just disengage for free. So things like this, you know, aren't punishing. You can be more aggressive with your harass. But the risk, of course, because you only have a Warmogs, is that they just kill you and you don't get to regenerate. It is, to me, that's an unconventional build. He has to still go Spirit Visage afterwards because he's got the Yuumi and that's the combo. So I find this one, yeah, a little bit more unconventional, but, you know, if they have control of the map, so be it.
They have been pretty on point, especially with the Dragon control. That deciding soul point potentially is up in just under 60 seconds now. So Shocker's doing his best to push out top wave. Would love to take down that tower if possible. A little bit crippled, but may just have to suffice by saying that is enough. Get a desirable recall, get back to this situation back in mid.
Yeah, Vital may have some money. I mean, at this point, Skimmy, I think this is where you do the stopwatch check, right? We're at a point where this fight could be an Infernal Soul. The Chiefs are set up well and truly in advance, though. Claire, the last one to really get here, he's going to be walking down from top lane. Chippies is probably just going to put his face in it, see what he can find, just quite simply because he's the one who needs to do that. Mir may consider it as well. If he has a Yuumi, he can just cop the damage and then ult to safety. No stopwatches.
It's just the Zhonya's, right? It's only Tien.
Yeah.
And he's on the flank.
And he's got a Malphite ultimate, so Vital might be wishing that he could have got that reset off to afford one. That was a redemption used. Just let them know. Bit weird.
Hello. And this is a big one right now. I've got my eyes fixated on Tien. Clear to the sides. As Tien is as well. Chippies goes in for the one man. They flash away from what Tien presents into this situation. Mir falls on down, and that's the worst case situation for a Yuumi. Nowhere to run, boots and all. Not a situation you like to find yourself in. Shock goes for the 2-man Shockwave, but has so many members chomping at the bit. Literally, because that's what Trundle does.
Has the Mobies. If they wanted to hunt, he could. But I think they would just look at Baron.
Running straight towards it. They're going to go into their own jungle. Hook will not land. Vital sidesteps. Fancy feed he has. They're buying time because the teleport is coming in towards the mid lane. It is going to be Chippies. Doesn't have the ultimate, but will be a tanky man. Vital just jukes and jives in the jungle.
And Shock's out. Claire's on a big flank here. Eyes on the Syndra.
Oh my gosh, Claire. That is the turnaround that they needed. On the flank, says hello, burns a flash, and secures a double kill to re-establish once again the Baron control.
Yeah, between Croc, Katsuri, and Claire, they might be able to pick themselves up the Baron buff here as well. Tan teleports in, so they've got the numbers. 3 people strong here from Direwolves. If they wanted to get in here and contest this one, Mir is nearby, has the smite, has the flash, and has the Ragnarok, has the ultimate. So he can get into this pit, and it looks like he wants to. Yeah, Baron resets.
Baron resets. Final chapter goes one way as Chippies runs and takes 2 with him. Katsuri is gone.
Oh no.
That slows them down completely. And Mir just laughs as Claire tries to unleash the chaos. But he says, I've got a Warmogs, I'm tanky, Yumi's backing me up. You do not faze me whatsoever.
League of Legends just comes at you quick, Skimmy. Sometimes it's just... Tien uses his ultimate, tries to engage onto, I believe, what was a Malphite. And then Mir. Do you want to hook this?
CK.
These two, Mir and Cupcake, just smack down the carries. This is being done on Vision, by the way. The control ward in the back of the pit, so they know full well how much health it has.
Oh, the flash hook, the silence. Vitals gone, but a massive shockwave onto multiple members. That may be enough. Or maybe I've spoken too soon. Because Croc flashes in, he gets a double for himself. And Mir, with the cat by his side, the loyal companion.
Can we just reset once?
He's just like saying, come on, what is going on?
Katsuri's back, and we're still going.
Final chapter comes out on cooldown. Now they look to try and make it all happen. Up amongst three. Mir maybe biting off a little bit more than he can chew. Fight continues. Chippies is back here as well. This may be the longest fight in this series so far, and it's given me flashbacks to the 10-minute fiesta of recall, reset, redo the objectives.
And I feel like at a certain point, Direwolves, namely Mir and Cupcake, forgot that they were playing best of 5 to get to the finals and just kept engaging. They could have slowed down. They could have just let control go to the Chiefs and, you know, threaten to fight if they go for the Baron, but they look for the kills, and they definitely don't get the kills. Most unusual series of events that went for many minutes. I feel like we first looked at the Baron 24 minutes in, Skimmy. It's 31.
It is the third wheel of this game. It's been hanging out and shown affection to both teams. But this is going to be a supportive Trundle. Despite getting himself online and early into this game, has gone for the Zeke's Convergence as well as the Knight's Vow. So couple that with the supporting items that Korea CK has. Katsuri has a lot of protection to make sure he does not fall victim to the top half of Direwolf's draft.
Spirit Visage will be a big break point here for Mir. While he is 1-5 on his Olaf, he still has that Yuumi, and it turns them into a monster duo, especially once that extra healing comes out from the Yuumi. 2 items there as well from Cupcake, and they are just running it down mid lane. Drake is up in 50 seconds, so there's quite some time to be able to play the map, not just the river. Chiefs have come to realize this fact.
Things are furious at the moment in this mid lane. Direwolves are like, we want to push the tower, but we cannot stand around here. This is not a desirable situation.
No.
Hook will land. Ragnarok propped at the very last moment. Final chapter comes out. He's running and dashing and not going to do it. He goes on down. Tien from the flank. Deletes one, goes golden, buys time for his team to re-engage, flexing those cooldowns. That's the blast cone. Shock is out of harm's way. And Chippies is literally between a rock and a hard place.
Tien's gone for the long chase here as well, but he's not going to be able to find Shock you would expect. Actually, that connects. They're on.
Tilt or not, he is reset. He is ready. And the hooks are perfect. Chiefs crush. Nobody dies, but they get an ace.
I mean, that, once again, these fights, Direwolves have just pulled some craziness out. They've gone very frantic, straight down mid lane, and Korea CK just hits hook after hook. And the difference maker, that wild card champion that is a Blitzcrank, proves to just be too much.
We are looking to go to a game number 5. Mir spawns and Mir falls. A battle at the bullet times. Tien delivers. And Chiefs, they get the game.
It's kind of wild to me that that wasn't a one-sided game. And that Direwolves could have won that at moments, and then they super didn't. And then, you know, like when the Chiefs had the lead, Tien was like, maybe we shouldn't have a lead, and started having those crazy engages himself. And it's, you're feeling the pressure perhaps getting to these players. Like there's usually reasons for a lot of these things, but there's been some really, you know, crazy decisions and calls that have been made. And, you know, credit to the other team in these situations. They capitalize on it without hesitation. But it has become a game of, you know, whoever makes the less mistakes seems to come out on top.
Yeah, and it has been very much a battle of fire and fire, of team fight versus team fight. There are cool, calm, composed moments that could be very sporadic in the start of the game, but then it hits that moment where it is just respawn and just fight, 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 fight. And it doesn't matter who is there, where they are, or what they're actually fighting for. They just see red in their eyes, and they just want to commit to it, Rusty. It is absolutely crazy. We are going the full best of 5, and we're going to see how things conclude and who is going to go to the grand finals right after this break.